You're scrolling through your feed, music playing, mind somewhere else. Then out of nowhere, you hear it, their voice. Not out loud, not a memory you called up on purpose, just there, clear, real, like they're standing behind you. And for a second, your whole body freezes. You feel that pull in your chest, that ache you thought you buried weeks ago, maybe months. You wonder if you're losing it, if this is just your brain playing tricks. But here's the truth. It's not random. It's not a glitch. And it's definitely not a coincidence. There's a reason you suddenly remember their voice. And what that reason is might change everything you thought you understood about connection, memory, and the invisible thread between two people. By the end of this video, you're going to know exactly why. Let's start with the most misunderstood part. Your brain doesn't store memories the way you think it does. It doesn't file them away neatly like folders on a computer. Memory is emotional. It's sensory. And voice is one of the most emotionally coded things your brain can hold on to. When someone matters to you, when they leave an imprint, your mind doesn't just remember what they said. It remembers how they sounded, the rhythm, the tone, the little pauses between words, that specific frequency that made you feel seen, or safe, or wanted. And here's where it gets deeper. Those memory voices aren't triggered by thinking, they're triggered by feeling. You don't decide to remember their voice, your nervous system does. Because something in your present moment, something small, maybe a song, a smell, the way light hit the room, matched the emotional state. Here's what nobody tells you. Sometimes you remember their voice not because you miss them, but because you miss who you were when they were around. This is the part that hits different. You think it's about them, but sometimes it's about you, about a version of yourself that felt more alive, more awake, more something. Maybe you laughed easier back then. Maybe you took more risks. Maybe you felt less alone. Their voice becomes the soundtrack to that version of your life. And when you hear it again in your mind, what you're really hearing is an echo of yourself, a part of you that got quiet when they left. This doesn't mean you want them back. It means you want that feeling back. And your brain is trying to tell you something important. A story. A friend of mine, let's call her Maya, told me she kept hearing her ex's voice for months after they broke up. Not during the day, at night, right before sleep. She said it felt like he was whispering her name. She thought she was going crazy, started wondering if it meant they were supposed to be together, if the universe was sending her a sign. But when she really sat with it, she realized something. She wasn't hearing his voice. She was hearing her own fear. Fear that no one would ever speak to her that gently again, that she'd never feel that wanted again. The voice wasn't him. It was her own longing wearing his sound. And once she saw that, the voice stopped. Not because she stopped caring, but because she stopped needing it to mean something it didn't. Now, here's another one. Different situation. A guy I once talked to said he'd hear his late grandmother's voice sometimes when he was stressed. Just random phrases she used to say. At first, it made him sad. Then he started paying attention to when it happened. Always right before he made a big decision. Always when he felt lost. And he realized his mind was playing her voice because that's what calm sounded like to him. That's what wisdom felt like. His brain was reaching for the sound of safety, and in a strange way, it was helping him. So voice memory isn't just about loss, it's about imprint, about the people who shaped how you hear the world. Let's pause here for a second, because I want you to do something. Think about the last time you heard their voice in your head. Where were you? What were you feeling right before? Were you anxious? Lonely? Angry? And ask yourself this.
Was the memory comforting or painful? Did it make you want to reach out, or did it make you want to run? And here's the biggest question. If that voice said something new right now, something you've never heard before, what would you want it to say? Sit with that, because the answer tells you what you're actually searching for. And I'll tell you this much, it's probably not them. It's closure, it's permission, it's peace. But we're not done yet, because there's still one thing I haven't told you. One shift that happens in your brain that makes everything click into place. And once you understand it, this whole experience starts to make sense.
And then something happens that most people completely miss. Your brain starts to release the emotional charge, slowly, without you realizing it. Every time their voice pops up and you don't react, don't text them, don't spiral, your nervous system learns. It learns that the memory isn't dangerous, that the feeling won't destroy you. And over time, the voice fades, not because you forgot them, but because your body stopped needing to protect you from the memory. This is the part where healing actually happens, not when you stop thinking about them, but when thinking about them stops hijacking your whole day, when their voice becomes just a sound, not a signal, not a verdict on your worth, just a leftover echo from a chapter that's already closed.
So, what do you actually do with all this? How do you move through it without pretending it doesn't hurt? Here's what helps. First, stop judging yourself for the memory. It's not weakness, it's wiring. Your brain is doing exactly what it's designed to do. Second, name the feeling underneath. Is it grief, regret, relief, longing? Say it out loud if you have to, because once you name it, it loses some of its power. Third, give yourself a micro moment of something grounding. Touch something cold, stretch your arms, take 3 slow breaths. This tells your nervous system you're here, you're safe, you're not back there. Fourth, write it down. Not a letter to them, a letter to yourself. What is this voice trying to tell me? What do I actually need right now? Sometimes the act of writing breaks the loop. And fifth, let the memory exist without making it mean something about your future. You can hear their voice and still be moving on. Both things can be true. Here's what I want you to walk away with. Hearing their voice doesn't mean you're broken. It doesn't mean you're stuck. It means you're human. It means someone once mattered enough to leave mark, and that mark doesn't have to become a scar. It can just be proof that you loved, that you let someone in, that you were brave enough to feel something real. The voice will come back sometimes, maybe for a while, maybe forever in small flashes, but it won't own you, not unless you let it. You get to decide what it means. You get to choose whether it pulls you backward or pushes you forward. And the moment you stop fearing it, stop running from it, stop needing it to be a sign, that's when it loses its grip. That's when you start to hear your own voice again, clearer, louder, truer. And that voice, the one that's been waiting under all the noise, that's the one worth listening to. If this resonated, consider subscribing. But more than that, consider being gentle with yourself today. You're doing better than you think.